All right, folks, before you click away thinking this is just another celebrity health scare story, hold up, because what just happened with Duck Dynasty's Uncle Cy Robertson is actually giving us all a masterclass in how real families handle crisis, and honestly, the way this whole thing unfolded is wild. So Duck Commander's general manager Justin Martin just dropped some news on his Instagram stories that had the entire Duck Dynasty fan base holding their breath. And I'm going to break down everything that went down minute by minute because this story has more layers than you think. Uncle Cy, the 77-year-old legend who basically became America's favorite uncle through that show, just got released from the hospital, and the details of what landed him there in the first place are actually pretty concerning when you really think about it. But here's the kicker that nobody's talking about yet. The way the family handled this entire situation tells us something massive about who they really are behind the cameras. Justin Martin posted on October 2nd, showing Uncle Cy about to bust out of that hospital, and get this, the old man's first request wasn't for his family or some emotional reunion. Nope, he wanted a sausage biscuit and unsweetened tea from McDonald's delivered through Uber Eats. And honestly, that's the most Uncle Cy thing I've ever heard in my life. Now, you might be laughing right now thinking this is just a funny, quirky moment, but wait until you hear what was actually going on behind the scenes, because this wasn't just some routine hospital visit. The family had been keeping something under wraps for at least 24 hours before they even told the public anything was wrong. And that alone should tell you how serious this actually was. Justin wrote in his stories that everything's good and thanked everyone for their prayers, which means the Duck Dynasty community had already been mobilized and praying before most of us even knew what was happening. So let me take you back to October 1st, just one day earlier, when Justin Martin made the initial announcement that sent shockwaves through social media. He posted a picture of Uncle Cy lying in a hospital bed, and the caption he wrote was calculated and careful, almost like they were trying to control the narrative before it got out of hand. He specifically said, before any rumors get started, yes, Uncle Cy is in the hospital, which immediately tells me they were already seeing speculation and gossip floating around online. The family clearly wanted to get ahead of whatever wild theories were about to explode across the internet. And honestly, can you blame them? In today's world, one grainy photo of a celebrity in a hospital can turn into a million death hoaxes within hours. But here's where it gets interesting, and nobody's really connecting these dots yet. Uncle Cy wasn't in the hospital for something dramatic like a heart attack or a stroke or any of those scary things that come with being 77 years old. According to Justin's post, the legend was battling a severe sinus infection that he was having trouble whooping. And now you're probably thinking, wait, a sinus infection? That's it? But hold on, because this is where the story actually gets real and honestly a bit frightening. A severe sinus infection in someone who's 77 years old is absolutely no joke. And the fact that Uncle Cy was hospitalized for it means this wasn't your average stuffy nose situation. We're talking about an infection serious enough that doctors wanted him under medical supervision, which suggests there were complications or concerns about it spreading or getting worse. Sinus infections in elderly patients can actually become life-threatening if they're not treated aggressively because the infection can spread to surrounding areas. And I don't want to get too medical here, but we're talking about potential brain complications if things go south. So when Justin said Uncle Cy was very much on the mend and would be discharged soon, that was actually a huge relief because it meant they caught whatever was happening in time. Now, here's what I personally find absolutely beautiful about this whole situation, and this is something that really sets the Robertson family apart from other reality TV dynasties. Justin Martin wrote that it's awesome to be surrounded by guys who practice what they preach. And that one line right there tells you everything about how this family operates. The Duck Dynasty crew built their entire brand on faith, family values, and sticking together through thick and thin. And this hospital situation proved they weren't just talking the talk for television ratings. These guys actually showed up, surrounded Uncle Cy with support, and made sure he wasn't alone during a medical situation. Compare that to other reality TV families who can't even be in the same room together without lawyers present, and you start to understand why Duck Dynasty connected with millions of Americans in a way that most reality shows never could. The Robertson family wasn't performing their values for Instagram stories. They were actually living them out when the cameras weren't rolling and when nobody would have blamed them for just sending thoughts and prayers from a distance. But they physically showed up at that hospital and stayed with their 77-year-old family member while he fought off an infection that could have gotten really serious really fast. And can we talk about Uncle Si's McDonald's order for a second? Because this detail is actually more revealing than you might think. The man just survived a multi-day hospital stay dealing with a severe infection. He's finally getting cleared to leave, and his celebration meal is a sausage biscuit and unsweetened tea from McDonald's. Not some fancy restaurant meal, not a home-cooked family dinner, just simple fast food delivered through an app. That's authenticity right there, folks. And it's exactly why Uncle Si became such a beloved figure during Duck Dynasty's run. He never pretended to be something he wasn't, never put on airs, never acted like reality TV fame changed who he was at his core. The man wanted his McDonald's and he was gonna get his McDonald's, hospital discharge or not. This whole incident also reveals something interesting about how the Robertson family has evolved since Duck Dynasty ended its original run back in 2017. They're still clearly tight-knit, still clearly involved in each other's daily lives, and still clearly using their platform to keep fans updated on what matters. Justin Martin sharing these hospital updates on his Instagram stories shows that the Duck Commander business and the family remain intertwined in ways that go beyond just work relationships. Justin isn't just some employee posting corporate updates. He's clearly embedded in this family's inner circle and trusted enough to be the one communicating Uncle Si's health status to the world. That says a lot about how the Robertsons do business and how they treat the people in their organization. They create family out of employees, not just workers. And that management philosophy is something I genuinely respect, even if I'm not always aligned with everything this family stands for politically or religiously. Now let's talk about why this story matters beyond just being a celebrity health update, because I think there's something bigger happening here that affects all of us. Uncle Si Robertson is 77 years old, and he just reminded everyone that getting older doesn't mean you lose your personality, your sense of humor, or your right to demand a McDonald's sausage biscuit when you damn well feel like it. Our society has this weird tendency to treat elderly people like they're fragile, humorless, or incapable, but Uncle Si has spent years proving that aging is just a number, and attitude is everything. Even lying in a hospital bed fighting an infection, the man maintained his characteristic humor and quirky demands, and honestly, we should all hope to have that kind of spirit when we reach his age. The fact that he's bouncing back from this health scare and immediately requesting fast food shows a resilience and zest for life that's genuinely inspiring. But here's the part that's been bugging me, and I need to address it because I know some of you are thinking it. Was this hospital stay really newsworthy, or was this just the family trying to stay relevant years after their show ended? And look, I get that cynicism, I really do, because we've seen plenty of celebrities manufacture drama for attention. But in this case, I actually think the Robertson family handled it exactly right. They waited until they had concrete information, they addressed rumors before they spiraled, they kept fans updated without being melodramatic, and they shared the good news as soon as Uncle Si was cleared to leave. That's not attention-seeking behavior. That's responsible communication with the fan base that genuinely cares about these people. Duck Dynasty might have ended years ago, but millions of Americans still feel connected to this family and legitimately want to know if Uncle Si is okay. Ignoring that fan base and keeping everything private would have actually caused more speculation and worry. So sharing these updates was the right call. What really strikes me about this entire situation is how it highlights the difference between reality TV families who were manufactured for entertainment versus families who were already solid before the cameras came showing up. The Robertsons existed as a functional, successful, faith-based family unit long before A&E came calling, and they'll continue being that family long after the last Duck Dynasty rerun airs. The show didn't create their dynamic, it just exposed it to the world. And that's why their relationships still feel genuine even years later. When Uncle Si got sick, his family responded like actual family, not like former co-stars obligated to make an appearance. They rallied around him, supported him through treatment, celebrated his recovery, and documented it all with the same authentic energy that made people fall in love with them in the first place. And honestly, in an age where so much of celebrity culture feels fake and performative, that authenticity is refreshing, even if you don't agree with everything this family represents. So where does Uncle Si go from here? Well, based on Justin Martin's update, the 77-year-old legend is apparently back to his normal routine, probably enjoying that McDonald's breakfast and telling stories to anyone who listen about his hospital adventure. The fact that he's bouncing back from a severe sinus infection at his age is actually pretty remarkable.